Hi, welcome back. In this video, we're going to be having a look at split screens, or as it's also known in DaVinci Resolve, the collage effect. If you're unsure of what split screen actually is, it's where the screen literally is split into a number of different areas, each of those areas showing a different video clip. The split screen effect has actually been used in Hollywood since the 1920s, but more recently, in the 60s and 70s, it was very popular. It's been used in some of the classic films such as The Boston Strangler with Tony Curtis or The Thomas Crown Affair with Steve McQueen. And even more recently, the TV series 24, where I think a split screen effect was actually incorporated into every single episode. Split screen is a massively underrated effect. It lets the audience see events happening at the same time in different places, like two characters reacting to the same moment or parallel storylines unfolding together. It enables the movie maker to show conversations more dynamically. For instance, phone calls, video calls, or characters talking while apart become more engaging when you can see both sides at once instead of having to cut back and forth. Split screens can deliver more information in less time. Instead of having 4 sequences running one after the other, you could actually show all 4 sequences at the same time. And split screens have a bold graphic look. Directors use it to give a scene momentum, rhythm, or a distinctive aesthetic. And it can be used to guide audiences' focus intentionally by controlling what appears in each section. Filmmakers can subtly direct attention or create irony or reveal information one character doesn't have. It's a real clever effect if used for a specific reason. So now we have an idea of what split screens actually are, let's have a look at how we can reproduce that effect ourselves. There are 2 common methods of creating split screens within DaVinci Resolve. The first method is what I call the freehand method, and the other is using the collage effect that's built in to DaVinci Resolve, even the free version. So we'll first take a look at the freehand method, and I've opened DaVinci Resolve to the edit page, and I've got 3 video clips in my pool. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to drag these over one at a time onto the timeline. There's one. There's a second. And there's the third. And as you can see, I've stacked them on top of each other. Because what's going to happen is when we run the split screen, all 3 video clips are actually going to run at the same time, just in different places on the screen. So that's why we stack them up on top. So for this specific split screen, what we're going to do, we only want the video. So I'm going to strip out all of the audio. And the fastest way to do that is to disable, or lock rather, the 3 video clips. And then we can highlight the audio clips, right click and delete selected. So the audio is now gone, but the video remains. And we've done it that way because they're actually interlinked, the video and the audio. And if you highlighted the audio and deleted it, it would delete the video as well. So we've locked each of the video tracks, so we can't affect those. So when we delete the audio tracks, that's all that goes. The video stays behind. So the next thing I'm going to do is to crop out each of my videos just so I've got the sections of video that I want to go together. So basically I'm going to cut out all the parts of the video that I don't want. Some of these videos are nearly 5 minutes long, and I only really want my split screen in this instance to last about 30 seconds. So I'm going to crop them down just to find 30 seconds of what I actually want. So first of all, we're going to unlock our bottom track, and then we're going to just disable the other 2. And there you can see, that's the bottom. If I didn't disable because they're all stacked up on top of each other, I'd only see the top one. Because there's the middle track there is actually underneath that one, and the bottom track is underneath that the other one. So if I disable that video track, it gets rid of the top one. So that's gone. And then we disable the next video track, which is the next one up, or the next one down rather. And that leaves us with the bottom track visible. They're all there, but you can't see these other two because we've disabled them temporarily. So what I'm going to do is play the track and just see if there's a 30-second piece that I can use for my split screen. And it's actually a video of a cable car. I'll just drag this down so we can see a bit better. That's better, you can see it now. Just a cable car leaving a station. So there's that we want to capture, and about 30 seconds of that we would actually like to have. So if I go back again to the part that I want to start, which is about there, what I can do Control and B at that point, and it will cut that first part out. So if I press space bar just to stop the timer from carrying on, I'll highlight that and delete it. So now we've got that. So that's where we want to start from. I mean, if you're lucky enough to have 3 30-second video clips that are all the same length, then you don't need to do this. But unfortunately, my video clips are all different sizes. So I'm going to play it, and you can see up in this corner how long the actual video is. I want to go over the 30-second mark. There we are. That's over. So what we can do is Control and B again, and that splices it at that point. And we'll highlight the bit after that we don't need and delete. So now we've got a clip that is just over 30 seconds. So we're going to do that to the next one. So we'll disable that one and we'll enable the middle one. There it is. And this one is, and we'll lock that one so we can't interfere with it, and we'll unlock that one. And this middle clip is actually from a different perspective of actually being stood in the cable car as it's going up, and it's staring down at the station. So you can see the station disappearing, moving away from you as we're going up. So I want to find a starting point that's actually corresponds with the first video where the cable car is actually leaving the station. You don't have to do any of this really. If you've already got 3 clips that you know that work together, it's just it's my OCD, and I just wanted to show you the method. So I'll zoom through this until I get to the point where the cable car is starting to leave. About there. So again, we'll do a Control B and we'll delete the first part. And then we'll roll on. As you can see, it's going up in the air. And we'll cut it at about the same point as the bottom one, about there. So Control B, spliced it at that point, and then we'll click on the remainder and delete. And again, we'll do the next one. So we'll lock that one up and we'll disable that track so it's disappeared, and we'll unlock the top track and we'll enable it. And as you can see, this video is actually taken in a place called Olden in Norway. And if you've never been, it's actually one of the most beautiful places. And this actual skylift is one of the steepest skylifts in the world, but it's actually 1 kilometre high. Right, so we'll go back to the beginning again on this track and we'll move across until we find an appropriate 30 seconds. So I've actually started it. I've gone further down the video and I've actually started it at the point where you can just see the cable car coming up. And what we're going to do is Control B. Control B and get rid of all that at the beginning. and drag it along, and you can slowly see the cable car coming up. And I'll cut it at that. Okay. So if you want to be more artistic and you've got more time, just for the purposes of showing you how to actually do it, we'll just leave it at that. So there we go. So there you are. We've got 3 video clips, all of the same length. And then what we'll do, we'll just pull it back. You can see the timer up here. That's the actual length of the videos. So we'll try and get it to 30 seconds exactly, just for my OCD. Give it that. Near enough. Control and B. And we'll unlock those 2. Control B. So we've got all 3. And we'll control and highlight all 3 of the ends and delete. So that's our 3 videos. Excellent. So now what we're going to do, just to make a bit of space, I'm going to get rid of 2 of the audio tracks that we don't need. If you right click anywhere on here, and then you can go to delete empty tracks. If you click on that, it'll get rid of those 2. This one, A1, it leaves that one behind because that relates to timeline 1. If you want to get rid of that, we could delete that, but we don't want to do that. It's a bit messy, so we can leave that one in just in case we want to put some audio back into it. We'll have an audio track already waiting for us. So we'll just drag that down just so we can see, and then we'll pull that across just so we can speed up the screen a little bit. So what we're going to do now is manipulate the top video. So we'll just play it again, just to see what we've got, just to remind ourselves. And you can see the cable car coming up. There we go. So most of the action is actually in the middle. So what we're going to do is we'll disable the other tracks, other 2 video tracks, just so we can't interfere with them in any way. And then we're going to go to the transform key, and then we're going to drop down, and we're going to click crop. So that gives us the opportunity to pull the sides in. So if you keep your finger on shift, it'll stop it. If you're not careful, sometimes when you're pulling these sides in, you can go up or down a bit, and it brings it all out of WAD. So if you keep your finger on shift on the keyboard, and then you can grab that and drag it in. And we just want it about a third, because obviously there's a third. We're going to do 3 stripes of video. So we're going to pull that in like that and like that. Don't have to be totally accurate. It doesn't really matter so much. You can alter it. You can alter it later on. So there we've got that. Now, what we're going to do is move that to this side. Now, if we try to grab that, it doesn't move. It just slides the window over the top of the whole video. So what we want to do is go on the transform key and click transform. And then again, keep your finger on shift, and then you can drag your video while your finger's on shift on the keyboard right to one side, just like that. And then what we can do then is enable the next one, which is the one below, and we'll pull it back. And we'll just play that, see what we've got. Yep. So you've got this video of actually leaving, you've got this video of actually going up. And we're going to have another one from another perspective of watching it go up. So we'll just stop that. So all the action really is in the middle, which is good for our purposes. So again, we'll disable the top one for now. And then we're going to unlock the second one. And we're going to do crop again. And we're going to crop this one. In fact, we don't want to disable the top one. We want to be able to see it. So we're going to crop the top one. So it's at that line. If you went over, there. So what we're going to do, we just want to crop it so it's just matching, so it's there. And we're going to pull this side in, just so it's there, just so it makes sense. Like that. Now for the middle one, I don't need to transform it, because I don't need to move it because I'm having it in the middle anyway. So that's that one done. And so we'll lock that and disable, not disable those two, we want to see them. And then unlock that one and enable that one. And we'll just go back and just to see what we've got for the third one. Now I've got a feeling the action is in the middle. So what we're going to do is crop it and then move it across. So we'll stop it at that. We'll move it back. We'll disable those two. And you can see it now. That's where it is. So if we highlight that one, we're on crop. So we'll enable that one just so we can see that edge. And we'll, with finger on shift, hold on to the left hand side and we'll drag it over to about there. And we'll do the same on that side to about there. And then we'll do transform. And again, this finger on shift, we'll move it to this side. And then we'll enable the middle one. And we'll just move this one back. So we'll go back and crop and we'll go. So it's there. So they all tie in. So what we're going to do now is play them and see what happens. There you go. You've got 3 separate videos running at the same time. So you get the idea. That's kind of the freehand method. And you can see why it's the freehand method, because you're actually pulling it to and fro freehand. So we'll just play that again. We'll just make as much space as we possibly can. Get rid of the media pool. We'll drag that all the way down so we've got a big screen, just so we can see it again. And we'll play it again. So there we go. 3 videos running simultaneously as a split screen. Now what you could also do is, and a different effect, you could stagger them. So we'll drag that down and we'll lock the first one. And we'll film that to there. So lock that one, unlock that one, drag that to there, and play that. And then you'll get one, another, and then another, in theory. Let's see what that looks like. Right, we'll big this screen up again, just so you can see it. Obviously, these are probably in the wrong order, but you get the rough idea as to what you can do with it. Pretty good. I think with that, you're limited only by your imagination. I mean, you can have that in a corner, you can have in different shapes. You can have them go, come on, and then disappear. if it's in a specific timeline, you can have one on and disappear and then it come back on again, or it's a quite a underrated. It's an underrated effect. I'll put it that way. Brilliant. We're now going to have a look at the second method for creating split screens, and that is the collage method. Now, the collage effect is actually built into DaVinci Resolve, and it's also in the free version, which is excellent. So I've set up DaVinci Resolve with 3 new videos. As you can see, they're all the same length. They're about 24.5 seconds, just enough to give you an idea as to how this thing works. So what I'm going to do, we don't need the audio, so I'm going to, again, remove the audio. We're going to strip that out. First, we're going to lock our tracks so we don't lose the video. And then we'll highlight the audio tracks, right-click and delete selected. And we'll do a right-click and delete empty tracks, just leaving the A1. And now we'll drag down our timeline just to make more space for ourselves so we can see the screen a little bit bigger. There we go. So the next thing we'll do is get rid of the media pool view. So we'll just click that out of the way, get rid of that, and we want the effects. There we go. So the first thing I'm going to do is just to make a little bit more space on our work area. Now the first thing I'm going to do is, if you see that icon at the top, that reduces the length of our effects or media pool column. It lifts it above the timeline and lets the timeline spread out a bit more. So we're going to hit that first. So that's giving us a bit more space on our timeline. And also what I'm going to do, I'm just going to click on the minus zoom out just to make our tracks just a little bit smaller, just so we can drag them about a bit on our screen. So just hit it once. It just makes them easier to manipulate when we're doing this. So what we're going to do now is just drag our 3 video clips just out of the way, just for the moment. And then we're going to highlight our first video and we're going to do a search for video. And if we click in Resolve effects, that is the effect that we want, video collage. And if I hover over it, you can see in the screen, it's actually put 4 tablets onto the screen. So what we're going to do is drag that on top of our first video, just like that. Now we've done that, we've got our video clip highlighted, we can go over to the inspector and we can now see that that effect is highlighted now in the effects tab on inspector. And there we are, video collage. So that means we can manipulate this with a number of different controls. So what this effect has actually done at this point is basically punched 4 holes into the video. If I drag one of the video clips underneath, it will show there. If I did that, to give you a bit of more of an idea, you can see the video clip underneath. So that's in effect what it's done. So what we can do, we go to the effects again on our first clip with the collage effect added to it, and we're going to change it to create tile. So we've got 1 tile. So basically, you could have that video as a background with other videos underneath it or inside it, or you can have it as a tile. So that video is now actually a tile. So what we're going to do as well is alter the number of columns and rows. So we've got 3 videos, so we want 1, 2, 3 columns going down. So we'll change that to 3. And we want not 2 rows, we just want 1 row. So we're going to have 3 columns about that size. So we're going to have just 1. And that's made that longer. So what we can do now, if we press play, you can see this video running in this tile. Just like that. So we'll put that to the beginning. And then what we'll do now is we're going to have the next video in this space. So if we go to right click and we're going to copy and then highlight the next video and edit and paste the attributes. And we want all the video attributes. So we'll click on that and apply. So now we've got that video running in tile 1. In actual fact, we want it in tile 2. So what we do, we go to Effects and click on Tiles. And we've got a drop down of tile 1, tile 2, and tile 3. And you're telling it where you want this video to be. So we want this video to be in tile 2. So it's moved it to there. And we're going to do the same for the third video clip. So we go back to the first one, right click, copy, go back to the last one, edit, paste attributes, all the video attributes and apply. And then we go to Effects and we choose tile 3. So now we've got this video in 1. This video in 2, and this video in 3. So how do we get them all to play on the screen at the same time? That's right. We drag them all on top of each other. So when we're running the timeline, all 3 videos are playing. So in theory, now we've done this, we see all 3. So we'll play that. And we get 3 videos playing. Pretty nice. And just out of interest, the three videos are again in Olden in Norway. And no prizes for guessing how I got there. So what you can also do is we could stagger them. We could stagger them like that. So we get this effect. Plays 1. In fact, what we'll do is to leave a bit of a space there, like that. We'll do that. And then we've got a black background. And then we'll play that. Two. 3. Yeah, I think that's pretty good, considering that we can use that in DaVinci Resolve free version. We've got that effect for nothing. Is, just testament to how good DaVinci Resolve is for beginners. Doesn't cost you a penny. Fantastic. And if you wanted to, you can actually manipulate your tiles if you wanted to. You can do custom shapes and sizes. I go to globals. We can alter vertical, staggering. You can alter the margins if you wanted to do that. Alter one, and then you just copy and paste the attributes onto all the other 3. You can do the manipulate it that way. There's all sorts of things you can do. You can do drop shadow, although you can't really see that because there's a black background. There's all sorts of tile animations. You can get the tile stuff flying. There's so many different things we can do. It'd be impossible to show you really on this video. But if you're interested, I can do a separate video to show you all the different effects. But really, it's just like our ethos of bite-sized guide. You know, just have a play with it, and you'll see yourselves what different things you can do. You can do motion blur. You can do borders, all sorts of things. It's really good. So if I get rid of our effects column, now we've done our collage. We'll keep it like that. And that, pretty nice. What we can do now is export it. So we go to delivery and we'll call it collage effect. And our video format MP4 codec H.264 native encoder. Leave everything as it is. Add to render queue. Render all. And that'll give us a separate video that we can then use as a separate video clip. We can import that into our media pool and we can add that to our timeline wherever we want to put it. So that's completed. So now if we just minimize our DaVinci Resolve, there we have our collage effect video. So if I double click on that, that's pretty slick. So I'll just move that out of the way and we'll get DaVinci Resolve back up. What we'll do, we'll go back to the edit page just to show you what we can actually do. Go to the media page and we can drag our collage effect into our media pool. There. Collage effect. So that can now be used. If we go to edit, we can now, if we go to media pool, we can now drag that on as a separate video with it all done. So if instead of having all that on your timeline, you can just have that singular video and you can use that, save that and use that for whenever you want. So we'll just play that. One. So you could use that as B-roll if you wanted to, or anything. You could use it for whatever purpose you need to within your own project. Really good. I hope you found that useful and enjoyable. If you want to learn more about DaVinci Resolve 20, please check out our beginner's tutorial guides, starting with this one, episode 1. Shows you right from the beginning how to set up and get going with DaVinci Resolve. There's about 18 videos in there at the moment, so hopefully you'll find those equally enjoyable and useful. Thanks for watching. I'm Phil, and this is Bite Size Guide.